Oh, I've been waiting for this one. I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet? You guys just know I love me some Derrick White, okay? I'm hoping that he win the championship this year, so he can prove all those haters wrong. He doesn't have that many haters. People actually really like Derrick White. But I came across this, really excited to watch it. So this is JJ Redick's podcast. Now, I'm not one to get super excited about the new media, as Draymond Green has stated, but I'll be honest, man. JJ Redick, I do like him. I like his takes. It's pretty good takes. Him calling out Stephen A. Smith and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's fun and whatnot for television, but overall, him as I don't know him as a person, but him as a podcaster, I think he's a pretty good podcaster. But let's go ahead and listen to what Derrick White has to say about Greg Popovich. Now, before we do, if you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. Now, let me say this, okay? I need to go ahead and put this out there, okay? I know I've gotten a little backed up as far as orders. Like, as soon as, like, near November, like, end of November hit, it was a bunch of orders, okay? So please bear with me. If you don't get your order this month, as far as like Christmas, it is coming. It's not that I forgot about your order. It's so many. And not only that, just keep in mind, and I'm not complaining, like, blessed, okay? I think that's awesome that you guys are supporting like that. I just letting you know that I'm not necessarily sending this out to like a third-party company to do all the work. Like, I'm doing all of it. So like packaging, making the shirts, all that, okay? In the comfort of my home. So just be patient with me. You're gonna get your stuff. It's not that, you're like, I forgot about you or anything like that. If you didn't get a tracking number, that's genuinely because I'm still working on orders. It's not because I missed anything. I don't miss anything. It's all in the database, okay? But yeah, just throwing that out there. I know that's a long PSA. I don't know if that would be considered PSA, but just want to throw that out there for you guys, if anybody was curious. All right, so let's go ahead and watch this. What really makes Greg Popovich the best ever, by Derrick White. All right, let's see. I made it seem like that was a book. Do we need... Yeah, we can keep the music on.
Tell me about Pop. Tell me about the experience of playing with Pop. You mentioned the development part. I think that's something the Spurs do particularly well. They use the G League. But him as a coach and being able to sort of gain his trust, that process, what's that like?
Yeah, it's a grind. I mean, obviously my rookie year, I spent most of the year in the G League.
Can I say something? Okay, I know. You guys know I love me some Derrick White, all right? I'm still a Derrick White fan. But let me say this, okay? And I've said this before. I said this when he was a rookie and people didn't want to hear me. I genuinely felt as if he was the best point guard on the team, okay? As far as like facilitator, as far as basketball IQ, when everyone was talking about who's gonna be after Tony, I was really hoping it would be like Derrick White. Now, don't get me wrong, he got his opportunity and he played exceptionally well, in my opinion. I wasn't expecting him to become a star, wasn't expecting him to become a superstar, nothing like that. I just really knew his basketball IQ, and that's when he was getting like 2 minutes per game. Like, anytime he would play, it would be garbage time. And I remember posting something on Instagram, because that's when I was mostly just on Instagram. I didn't really have anything else, and I was just on there, and I would say like, hey, call me crazy, but I think Derrick White should be, the next starting point guard, or he should at least get more minutes, and no one would listen. But I'm glad that he's getting the recognition he deserves now. Because you could see it even in like 3-4. It was wild. Even like 3-4 minutes of playing time at times, you could tell that IQ was there. It was like, there's something about this dude.
Which I was fine with, because it got me a chance to play. We had a lot of vets on the team. We had a lot of known guys that have been playing for a while. So just getting down there and playing in the G League, and then just having him paying attention to what you're doing down there. It's not like you went down there and he forgot about you and doesn't care about you. Like, I would come back up and he would be talking to me about it, and just let me know that they're still supporting me. And then that second year is really when I got my chance to play. DeJounte went down with the ACL and kind of just got thrown into it. He's like, got no other options, you got to go. And so I just kind of thrown into the fire, and just trying to learn on the fly. I mean, his big thing with me was telling me
confidence. Okay, this is a real test. Like, I have not watched this at all. If he says his big thing was confidence and being confident, that means I'm the greatest Spurs fan of all time. Okay, I just know these things. All right, I paid attention, and I don't remember Pop really saying it per se, but I feel like that's it. Hold on, let's see.
Me that I belonged, and to prove to myself that I belonged. So every other day, like, he would come up to me and be like, "Hey, you belong here." So just having someone like that believe in you and trust in you, it meant a lot.
What can I say? I'm a good Spurs fan.
A specific game or moment in practice, something where you felt yourself that you belonged?
I mean, there's a specific game where I felt like I didn't belong.
Thought you that too.
Which game was that?
Was it against the Grizzlies? Okay, there's no way this is it. Okay, if he said there's no way this is it, I was at a Grizzlies game in which he was playing absolute garbage. Okay, the first half, and I was excited because I really came to watch Derrick White, and he was playing like absolute garbage, and you could tell he was slumped over, his head was down, he didn't believe in himself. He left off the court just looking so sad. Came back during halftime and still the same demeanor, and he had every single player come up to him, like every single player, patting him on the back, talking to him. Pop talked to him for like 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes straight. Yeah, so is that it? I don't know. There's no way.
We played the Clippers.
Oh,
it was like November 19th, 18, because Chip England put it in my locker. It was like, this is the game that's going to turn your career around. Like, we've all had lows like that. So, I think it was like the third quarter or something. Like, I just turned it over like 3 straight times, never went back in the game. Like, I had just came back from an injury, so I was just like, I hadn't really made a name for myself yet, so I was just like kind of down, and Chip was like, this is going to turn your career around, and you're just going to use this as motivation to never feel like this again. So he put that date in my locker, and just ever since then, I just try to stay upbeat, learn from that mistake, and just get better from it.
I do not remember that game, so I don't know.
I feel like that moment is probably one of many moments you've had. And
was that what was that? That wasn't a shot. Okay, I'm gonna let him finish, but what was that? What was that about? What?
One of many moments you have yet to have. I feel like it's just the plight of a sportsman.
Okay,
and
all right, okay.
I went through that so many times in my career. My oldest, who you met earlier, Knox, got really into basketball. He's obsessed. He's probably watching your YouTube highlights right now as we speak. Probably right above us, watching your YouTube highlights. And he's starting to play, and he's starting to play on a more competitive team. He was doing like a rec league this fall, and now he's playing on a more competitive team, better players. He had a particularly bad practice on Friday. He was very frustrated afterwards. And as a dad, of course, that hurts. But one of the things I told him was like, as long as you play basketball, you're going to feel this every week, every month, every year. Have you found that? Like
imposter syndrome, right? That's what they're essentially talking about. That's not just, I don't think that's just like sports. I think everyone kind of experiences that, especially when you have something that you're specializing in or something that you're trying to create a career in. I think everyone feels that. Yeah, I don't know. There's not too many people out there that feels like they're great all the time. And if they do, then there's some issues there. There's definitely some issues there. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's something that we all kind of experience.
Like I know you that game sticks out in your memory, partially because of what Chip did. Chip's the man. Like partially because of that. But I just feel like as a professional athlete, like it's not this linear trajectory. There's just so many peaks and valleys.
No doubt.
That's everything. That's not just an athlete. That's everything.
I mean, Chip always said basketball is a humbling game. No matter how good you think you are, there'll be someday like it's gonna humble you. So, I mean, I think that's just the beauty of the game. It's just there's ups, there's down, there's highs or lows. You got to just learn and grow from each one. And mean, obviously that's the first one that sticks out mostly in my mind, but there's been many times where you're down, whether you're not making shots, you're just not playing well, whatever it might be. So just trying to ride the wave, as my boy says back home, and just enjoy the whole thing.
You said Pop, in your opinion, and a lot of people would agree with you, greatest coach of all time. What is Pop's greatest strength?
I think he just knows how to
Connectivity. He can connect the team. He understands how to speak with you. He understands what you need. He understands what you want. And he facilitates that.
communicate with people, knows how to connect with you on a deeper level. And I always say that I learned a lot on the court, but I've learned more off the court from my time in San Antonio. Just trying to realize that it's bigger than basketball, which is something he talks about all the time. And just
DJ talks about that too.
push you to be a better person. So obviously he wants you to do things on the basketball court, but it is a job at the end of the day, and he just wants you to be a great person, which is really the important thing.
Yeah.
Huh, pretty cool. Let's see what the comments have to say about this. I've met Pop at a coaching seminar, and trust me when I tell y'all he's nothing like his media persona. He's the most humble, compassionate, and patient dude I've ever met, considering his stature in the sport. Don't be intimidated. Dude, I mean, look, obviously we don't know any of these people personally, right? But Popovich has always kind of came across like that. Like that whole media thing, I don't know. That's from... I don't know. People take what Pop is and they start talking about how he's an authoritarian and da-da-da-da-da-da. They take all these things and it's basically from an outsider perspective. I feel like if you're a fan of the team, you keep up with things enough where you know, or at least you've seen the demeanor of Pop, and like you've even seen things as wholesome as retirement for Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, their retirement parties or whatever you want to call it, retirement event. You could even see it. It just bleeds through how humble Pop is. Let's see. Pop is the last of a dying breed of coaches that have gotten players to not only buy into his system, but also helping them become the best. Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, Daly are also great at micromanaging. Okay, all right. I was going to disagree with him with Phil Jackson, but not necessarily. He said also helping them become their best. He means in the game of basketball. I thought he meant like becoming better people, but I don't think Jackson cared about that, which is fine. Derrick White gets some credit, but he was a huge part of the Celtics run last year and this year. Doesn't always get stats, but always impacts the game. Always, dude. Always. Always. No matter how good you are, basketball will humble you. I'm so glad they said that, because you get playing enough. It really is true, man. Learning to deal with the waves is such an important lesson. Dude, it's like this is universal. This isn't just basketball. It's not just basketball. I think the Spurs' greatness with the depth of their teams, not only their main talented players, they really need a lot of good fortune in order to become a playoff team again. Yeah. I think the Spurs' greatness was the depth of their teams. I mean, yeah. But that's like that's not. I don't know. Yeah, having Tim Duncan, Manu, and Tony definitely helps. I don't know. That's like every team though. Part of their greatness was their scouting accuracy in Europe and drafting well. Hey, can I say this before we get out of here? Can I say this because this comment just brought something in my head? I am terrified. I am absolutely terrified. If we cannot get a top 3 pick or top 2 pick, maybe even in the next 2 drafts, okay, I am extremely nervous, because I know a lot of people bring up how we drafted Manu, okay, and we drafted Tony, and they were later in the draft or whatnot. But guys, it is not the same as it was back then. Like, scouting today has gotten so much. It's just gotten so much better. And unfortunately, that makes it bad for us. That doesn't make it good for us. So I just sit back and I'm like, we really need these picks because we can't bank on getting lucky. Okay, you can't bank on getting lucky with a I said Loki, lucky with a Jokic, right? Like you just can't. So you have to sit back and you have to get your top picks. And I know a lot of people bring that up, like, well, we scouted Manu. It's like we're one of the best in the league as far as scouting. We're one of the best in the league as far as drafting. Even still, to this day, we still are. But it's really going to be hard to pick or get these types of players in today's NBA. It's super hard, okay? Because everyone is scouting. We were ahead of our time, but you know, a lot of people have caught up. A lot of teams have caught up. So, all right. Anyways, I'll get with you guys later, man. As always, you want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com. I really appreciate all the love. By the way, just throwing this out there, if you guys looking for this Devo, I actually have a bunch of these already ready. I just went ahead and did those. As long, or also with the Wii Hoopin', I did quite a few of those too. So if you guys looking at those two, they will be ready in like no time. But everything else, you got to be patient with me because I'm still getting those together. But I'll give it to you guys later. Until next time, bye.